So, in light of the recent tragedy that has happened in Paris, I don't just see this as a social tragedy. To me, this is a tragedy of human intelligence. And especially at times like this, what we need most above all else is a certain sense of balance and equanimity. As a reaction to somebody else's violence, it is far too easy to become entangled within your own violence, your own anger, your own fear and frustration. This will not be helpful to find a solution to the problems that exist in the world. And it is always a reminder, according to me, whenever events like this happen, it is a reminder that one needs to have unprejudiced vision. What does that mean, unprejudiced vision? That means that you're capable of looking at the reality with unprejudiced eyes, not based on your preconceptions. You're looking at each situation case by case. You're not concerned with being politically correct. What is political correctness? Psychologically, what is political correctness? It means you're willing to wear a veil over your eyes because you're far too fearful and not receptive enough to address the facts. And this is the thing about the facts. The facts are always objective, standing alone, unconcerned with human likes and dislikes. They have no obligation, moral or otherwise, to bend their ways to our expectations, to our demands, to our unfulfilled desires. So, to address objective facts, we need a more objective vision. So I prefer to look beyond these labels: Christianity, Hinduism, Buddhism, Islam, atheism, all kinds of isms. That ism tells you really not much, almost nothing, about the finer details. And where do the finer details lie? Where do they always lie? They lie within the human mind. So, suppose our own greed, our own anger, our own fear, our own agitation, our own insecurity. If we are carrying these internal qualities, our physical actions will be extensions of what are the internal qualities that you are carrying within you. So, seen in this light, we can't put all ideologies in the same category. We must look at each one case by case, exactly the same with religion. We can't make sweeping generalizations about all religions. Each religion has to be seen case by case. So, we have an ideology that exists in the world which has violence embedded into its very structure. When this is the case, we need to understand what kind of effects this will create within the human mind, what are the psychological qualities that will be developed, and because of those psychological qualities, what will be the social consequences. There are different ideologies which hold different values. Take, for example, the Mahayana Buddhists. For the Mahayana Buddhists, the highest ideal of the spiritual path is the Bodhisattva. Who is the Bodhisattva? The Bodhisattva, he is possessed by the mind of compassion. He wants to come to his liberation, not just for his own sake. He wants his own liberation to be beneficial to every sentient life that exists through the whole universe. That is a strong contrast to the ideal of Hinayana Buddhism, which is that of the Arhat. Who is the Arhat? The Arhat, he is not so much concerned with social transformation. He is exclusively concerned with his own individual transformation. If I am suffering from a certain sickness, in my attempt to help somebody else, I will most likely just transmit the same sickness, and in the process become sidetracked from addressing what is really essential for my well-being. That is a different way of thinking. So, different ideologies develop different internal qualities which have different social consequences. And this is important to understand. We need to examine this very deeply, looking beyond distinctions of organized religion, of philosophy, of different belief systems that exist in the world. Let us be more practical and look at it in terms of the human mind. With a sense of balance above all else. Without the sense of balance, this reminds me of one statement of Nietzsche. He says something along these lines that one must be, I'm just paraphrasing, one must be careful that in condemning a monster, you yourself do not become a monster in the process. And when you stare into the abyss stares back at you. So in light of the recent tragedy in Paris, my heart goes out to everybody, not just in France, but everybody in the whole world who has been affected by this. May we all flourish with human well-being, and may wisdom and compassion become the language of the world.